Good evening and welcome to the Ferguson City Council meeting for October the 8th, 2024. Opening ceremony meeting is now called to order. Let us stand for a silent prayer. Acting Clerk Chris, could you please call the roll? She's on Zoom.
Here. Can you all hear me? Here.
We can hear you.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
A quorum is present at this time. At this time, I need a motion on the floor to amend the agenda for resolutions 2024 46 and 47 to have a sponsor by Mayor Ella Jones and Naquita Noah.
So move, Naquita Noah. I would like to make a resolution.
Is there,
I apologize, Mayor.
is there a second? I second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Let's move on.
Nay.
Okay, then. Let's go back. The resolution has to have a sponsor, both of them. We can sponsor it as everyone. Resolution number 2024-46 is to retain Judge Goldstein as our judge. And resolution number 2024-47 is for the election coming up.
Well, hold on. Does it have any sponsors right now? Let me look.
It doesn't have any sponsors right now. So anyone that would like to sponsor it other than myself or Councilwoman Noor, please speak up because we got to have those two resolutions.
If they don't have sponsors, why are they on the agenda? The purpose of requiring sponsors is that the sponsorship must come before something's placed on the agenda. I understand these are not controversial measures, and I don't have a problem with either one of them, but we are again circumventing the proper legislative process here.
It was omitted when the agenda was sent out. I had spoken to Dave Musgrave and to city manager that I will sponsor those. In the midst of Dave going out of town, he just omitted it. That's it. That's it. Yes. Oh, believe me, we are. Believe me, we trying to find people to fill in those positions. Chris is doing the very best job he can do along with his regular duties. The same with Dave Musgrave. He was leaving town on vacation. No.
Okay, I'll sponsor it as well. If we're
Okay.
gonna sponsor them, let's,
Okay.
everybody who wants to sign up, go ahead and sign up.
So let's go back to the motion. And the motion need to amend to include Councilman Kassoff on the sponsorship of resolution 2024, 46 and 47. Is there a motion to amend the motion?
So moved.
Eh,
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Let's move on. At this time, Chris, excuse me, Acting Clerk Chris, we move into our public Comments? Do we have anyone signed up for public comments? Okay. You have 3 minutes to speak. The clock. Watch the clock. When your 3 minutes up, we ask that you finish your sentence and don't speak anymore. If you persistent on speaking, I will hit the gavel. And if you continue to speak, you will be escorted out. Who will we have for our first public comment? Thank you.
Start over. Again, I'm Doretha Nixon Harris at 924 Dyer Down Avenue. And when I was here previously at a meeting, I had asked about a property in our neighborhood in the 900 block of Smithshire. I had asked about a status report on what's going on with that derelict building, and I have not gotten a response. So I was just following up to see if I could hear back from my councilman or councilwoman to give me an update on what's going on at that property that's located in Ward 1. And also, if any of you are driving on Dyer Down, I have a neighbor that has a really good display for Halloween. If you have children, bring them by to take a look and just drive by. You would certainly enjoy the display. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry Knoll.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, council, city officials, and public members. My name is Jerry Knoll, 1237 Deer Ridge Drive. Hopefully, everyone has heard by now about the upcoming conference to recognize the 30th anniversary of the original Oak Park Exchange Congress that was held here in Ferguson at Flo Valley Community College in October of 1994. If not, it's going to be next Friday, Friday the 18th, and Saturday the 19th of October. More information and details can be found at proud-ferguson.org, proud-ferguson.org. Some of the speakers, among the speakers and panelists are going to be Dwayne James. Many of you know him, a former council member. Reddit Hudson, Dr. Christy Griffin, Precious Berry, who's a young person, a Washington University student. She was a Delwood resident, went to Riverview Gardens, and she has a great message to young people. And we partnered with Ferguson Florissant School District, and about a dozen students from Ferg Flora coming to hear her speak and to participate in some of the panels. Ron Johnson, the retired captain of Missouri Highway Patrol, and many of us remember him. He played an instrumental role during some of the uprising that was going on here in 2014. Rodney Ficus, the Soulcraft person, owner, he's going to be one of the panelists. And Rosalind Williams, many of you may remember her. She was the planning and development director here in Ferguson back in the 2008-2012 timeframe. If you want to hear these keynote speakers and panelists and others on such topics as building relationships, appreciating diversity, strengthening community, or participate in some of the panel discussions that we're going to have in breakout sessions on social connectedness, housing and neighborhoods, economic development, education and youth empowerment, community safety, and giving voice through the arts. If you want to participate, get involved, please consider joining us. Tickets are on sale on the Proud website, or you could see me afterwards. I got a few that I'm carrying with me, and I'll be around outside afterwards. Lunch will be provided both Friday and Saturday, and breakfast Saturday. However, tickets bought after Friday, there's no guarantee that there'll be enough food to go around. So if you want to make sure you get your lunch on Friday and Saturday and breakfast on Saturday morning, get your tickets before the end of Friday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Adrian Shropshire.
Mayor, I have some handouts. May I approach the stage where you can pass, so I can pass them around?
Give it to the acting clerk, please.
Thank you. Adrian Shropshire, 709 Forest Avenue, 63135. Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, page 1 and page 2. This is page 2, we need page 1.
Yeah, there's two different ones there.
I don't have the liquor license one, neither does he. Some liquor down here. That's good.
You got it. This was emailed to everyone also. Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
That's
Once more, I'm Adrian Shropshire, 709 Forest Avenue. A few months ago, I was ill, and I appreciate everybody and their get well. So I'd like the city to show Miss Octavia a little love and get her some flowers out and a card. She's one of our hardest workers we have on our city staff. I don't know if the city's done it or not, but it's a good gesture to show her that we do appreciate her. I would like an update, if possible, on the car lot. The more or less the lot next to the car lot. There's tires, somebody's throwed some tires out there, and it's grass growing up on it. So if possible, I'd like to get an update on that. What I've handed out is a flow chart. I did a little research, and this is what I've come up with that was brought up during the time of Elliot and Miss Octavia made this flow chart on how the different people, when they want a business and when they want liquor license, the way they should go. I tell you, I've had so many people come through planning and zoning and already got the building, already bought the property, already rented it, and here they are wanting to come in and do business. Well, I think if whoever's handing out the permits needs to go by this flow chart that was set up by the city, by Miss Octavia, and by Elliot. So whoever's doing that needs to take some of the burden off of the city, because last week, boy, it was a fiasco up in here. And, you know, and sometimes we can avoid that by proper procedures. National Night Out Rally was great. It was very nice. I don't know, probably grilled out about 75 hot dogs or so. We had excellent response from the officers. The Boy Scouts came, citizens came. It was really a great greet and meet. And we got to do it again. And I think we need to pump up the volume on it the next time to be able to do that. Somebody asked me the other night, I was at FYI, and the lady said, well, when's court? And I said, well, court's not on Friday. And I said, well, you know, let me ask, when will we be going back to our chambers? They're holding court in there, so I'm just asking. I don't want to start any problems or push any buttons crazy, but I would just like to know, when will we get back into our home? That's all. Thank you, and have a good evening.
thank you, Mr. Shropshire.
Next, we have Laverne Mitchum.
Good evening, council. The last council meeting was quite disturbing to me. I felt you all were very disrespectful to Councilwoman Naquita. I don't think she was trying to get her name in the limelight. I don't think she was trying to be self-serving. I think she was trying to clear up and correct something that was done that she felt was unfair. At least that's the way I read it. Councilman Williams, you said they were being a little hard on her. I don't think they were being a little hard on her. I think they were being unfair to her. I have come before this council many times and basically said that you all are held to a higher standard. I don't say that just to get up here to get attention. I mean that. I think she was treated unfair. I think she was made to feel like she's trying to just get credit when credit isn't due. All of that. I think it was just terrible, the way you all treated her. Secondly, Councilwoman Lipka, you said something about people being jackasses, trying to get around the speed bumps. Again, Councilwoman Lipka, your language towards citizens, I just have a problem with it.
Councilwoman.
And then last, Councilman Kassoff, when we were having the FNIP special meeting, which turned out to be a very productive meeting, you said you were going to have beer on your porch, and you said people could come by. You even invited council people. Yeah, you did that. And I'm just now getting back to let you know I found it very disrespectful. That was the time we were having the special FNIP meeting. And you said you were going to be serving beer and you wouldn't be at the meeting. And I found it very disrespectful. I only come before you all because I have higher expectations for you all. I want Ferguson to be better than other places. We've had a lot go on in this city, and I think you all represent us. You all are our governing body, and I just expect better. I don't expect you to call citizen jackass. I don't expect you to disrespect another council member where I know how she was feeling. So when I come before you, I'm serious. I'm not just coming up here to try to got you or to make anybody feel bad. I just come and tell you the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell.
The next person we have signed up is Marcia Givhard.
Hi, council members.
Hello.
It's been almost a year and a half since the city of Ferguson provided monthly information to its residents through the Ferguson Neighborhood News. As a lifelong resident of Ferguson, I'm here to ask the city council to allocate $500 a month for a half page of space in the Ferguson Neighborhood News. And this is where information from the city hall would go for the benefit of residents. And I'm not the only resident who values what the paper provides. I've received comments from residents young and old, new, long-term, Black and white. And I've printed them for you and I'll leave them behind, but here's one example from Regia Moomin, young, new Ferguson homeowner. She said, my family and I moved to Ferguson in July. We were active community members in our previous neighborhood and wish to extend help to our new neighborhood. We've attended a few events since moving in, but wish to be more involved. I believe the monthly Ferguson Neighborhood News will keep us updated and encourage us to get out and meet our neighbors. A newspaper is a more intimate form of communication and makes the community proud. So the paper's editor and business manager volunteer a lot of time to solicit ads and to get content for the paper. In addition to publishing the very popular half page about Parks and Rec events, which is paid for out of the that department's budget. They also solicit and publish a lot of other information for free. Things like the Proud event that's coming up that we were just hearing about, but most people won't hear about it unless they see it in something like the Ferguson Neighborhood News. There are a lot of other possible stories that I think the city could suggest and submit that would really enhance pride and involvement of residents, like the new soccer practice arena that's there on Suburban that I see all the time, but I don't know anything about and would love to know more. So speaking of pride, there has been a Ferguson newspaper since 1922. It just knocks me out. Jerry Benner of the Historical Society will write a story about it for the November issue, but I can't imagine any other community that has that kind of longevity and pride, and I think we need to embrace it. So I'm asking you to include an agenda item in your next meeting. Shall we allocate $500 per month to purchase a half page of space for information from the city to inform, engage, and inspire Ferguson residents? $500 a month, $6,000 a year works out to 70 cents per household per year. And I think that's a pretty good deal on a great investment. So thanks for your consideration. And I'll leave printouts with you all along with a copy of the paper in case you haven't seen it yet.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a few people who signed up online. Miss Erica Brooks, I think she just walked in though.
Good evening. I had it signed up online, but I never gotten a response to get let in. That's why I'm standing here and didn't get a chance to sign up on the paper. I was once again following up with asking you about a revised bill that dealt with bill number 7282 to know the procedures of things that are happening. You all might say, well, that bill was dead or whatever else, but I know the procedures that need to take place in order to deal with accredited housing, occupancy permits, and inspections are still happening. So I want to know what other revised bills have or procedures are being done right now that's going to let homeowners know what you all are doing in public, because you all are once again making moves happen without us as resident or homeowners or renters understand what's going to be required of us as far as rent costs, as far as homeowners having to address different codes, things being up to code. You all might say, well, that stuff is not relevant, but when it comes down to you all putting things out on paper for the homeowners to understand how to address the costs of all the different procedures that you all talking about having work done in different quadrants at certain times of the year. And so, I mean, so the thing about it is if that's not happening, to be able to understand the update about what you all are doing would be sufficient to know what's really going on, because I know you all not just letting that money go to the side. That's a whole lot of money that's going to be generated if that procedure is still being followed. Outside of that, I also wanted to say the speed bumps on Suburban Avenue, there's lack of lighting at nighttime. So you can't see the speed bumps when you approach them. It's dark. And also the lack of signage to let you know that the bumps it's about 2 signs on the whole street. So when you get ready to go over that hump in the dark, you don't know it's there until you hit it. Also, I would like to know, what are the demographics of the different nationalities in Ferguson? Because there's a lot of immigrants that are here in our community now. And so I would like to know, is there some kind of information space that we can go to find out who's here in Ferguson? Also about the comments about the jackasses, I was really, I found it very loose and disrespectful, once again, to citizens to be called jackasses, no matter how mad you get because people are speeding or being disrespectful or driving recklessly. We shouldn't, as citizens, be called jackasses. And please register to vote. It's very important. And also, if you can put the neighborhood association in the paper, she's talking about paper or whatever, put neighborhood association information in the newspaper. That will be open to where people can be able to know what's going on in every ward. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person that has signed up to speak online was Vivian Fox.
Ms. Fox?
Yes, my name is Vivian Fox, 3114 Somerset Green Court. I come before you tonight because I'm exhausted and don't know where else to go. We have been trying to get the grass cut on the vacant lots here all summer. That grass has not been cut since last year. It is about 6 feet tall in some spaces. When it rains, code enforcement will come out and want to cite us because the grass hasn't been cut. We have a company that cuts every 10 days, but this grass in the back has gone on for over a year. When we requested that somebody come out, they said they didn't know who was the owner of the property. We gave the name, number to code enforcement who owned the property and how to get in touch with them. We found it on Google, so I'm sure that they could find it on Google. Both of our council people know that this is going on. We're getting no help from them. And so at this point, we don't know where else to go. We don't want to have to go to the media and have the media come in because we don't want a bad name on Ferguson. We don't want them to think that Ferguson is not what they're supposed to be doing and treating the residents unfairly. If you're paying residents, seems like they want you to do more than those that are not paying. So I'm asking both of my council people, can you give me an update on where we are with getting this grass cut in Somerset Park?
Thank you, Ms. Fox.
And nobody else typed in the chat that they wanted to speak, and I'm not seeing any additional hands raised.
Well, can the council people respond? I'm asking, can somebody respond as where we are? Or how do I get a response to what's going on with the grass being cut? Every time we come, they said it's going to be done, and nothing's happening.
Thank you. We have anyone else, acting clerk?
No one else has signed up to speak.
Okay. Public comments have been closed. The different people have made statements for staff. We ask staff to take note of what the citizens have shared and please rectify their situations. We move to our manager's report. City Manager Hampton.
Mayor and Council, it's a pleasure being here in front of you tonight. First off, I want to address the speed humps and the signage. We are looking at high-vis paint so that it'll catch the lights at nighttime. Also, the signs are continuous being taken down by, we don't know, but we're trying to put them back up as fast as we can. So if you do see a sign that's not there, please report it. But this time I'd like to have Chief Doyle come up for his police report.
Chief Doyle.
Here, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. As usual, I'm gonna talk about staffing updates, part one, part two, crimes, traffic, community. As it relates to staffing, I'm happy to report we have finally hit the 80% staffing mark, which is significant for our city. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but we have another gentleman that we'll be swearing in Monday who will put us put us right about 82% staff. Now that being said, we are having some issues with B staffing, and that has a lot to do with sick. We got hit with COVID pretty good with the police department the last month or so. We have a couple people that's out on injury, some people that's out on maternity leave, and we're also in the process of relieving people for vacation. We have to reduce that because the officers only have so many hours that they can carry over to the next year. So, in regards to part one crime, the biggest increase you see on there is daytime residential burglaries, which were up 63%. I spoke about this a couple months ago where we got hit in the Harvey, that neighborhood over there, Dade. Again, since we've been out there, we haven't had the residential daytime burglaries have went down. However, they got us pretty good a couple months ago, and that's what's contributing to those numbers. Believe it or not, in regards to auto thefts, we're actually down for the year, but that's not just unique here in Ferguson. It's more of a nationwide trend. I think that has a lot to do with the Kia updates and the steering wheel locks that every agency we're giving away. But overall, part one crime is down for the city for 4%. As it relates to part two crime, yeah, nothing really significant to see on her other than the 18% increase that we see in domestic violence. October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, that is a concern. So again, if you recognize you have neighbors, family, or friends, make sure you look out for the signs of domestic violence. Appreciate it. Last night, we did have a homicide that took place in the Park Chatelet neighborhood. Got a call around 8:00 p.m. for shots being fired. Our response time was about 4 minutes. As a result, when the officers responded to the scene, they see an individual or vehicle leaving the subdivision. One of the officers with a keen eye found it to be somewhat suspicious. He stopped that vehicle. In the process of stopping that vehicle, he was able to locate the two suspects inside, along with a deceased body inside. Warrants were applied on these individuals today with a $1,000 cash only bond with no 10%. So I want to say I was extremely proud with the work that our officers did yesterday. Again, our response time was 4 minutes from the initial 911 call. For them to get there and catch the suspects and get the deceased, I thought that was pretty remarkable for our police department. Something of note too, last month, we partnered with our federal partners, ATF and DEA. We did a couple drug search warrants in our community, one in the 1700 block of Windward and the other one in the 200 block of North Dade. And we assisted DEA with a search warrant in the 1700 block of Exuma and Patricia Avenue. Regards to the ShotSpotter data, just real quick, I was looking at some numbers today from 2022 to present. Believe it or not, we're down 33% in regards to the incidents. But as I mentioned in previous council meetings, the number of shots being fired during each incident is trending up. However, the number of incidents are trending down. The most active days are Tuesday, Fridays, and Saturdays. And if you're not aware, back in August, Missouri passed the Blair's Law, which makes it a Class A misdemeanor now, which makes it a penalty of 1 year in jail if you get caught doing celebratory gunfire. As far as traffic citations, again, 2,129 is written today. 1,400 of those are citations and 680 of those are warnings. As far as traffic enforcement, year to date, we're down 3% compared to this time last year. failed to yield, again, 43% decrease. And again, just a reminder, those other vehicles for whatever reason, refused to stop for law enforcement. Someone mentioned, I can't remember who did, the National Night Out kickoff event that we had at the police station. A number of people attended. It was a good event. Got us started for that Tuesday's National Night Out, which we did attend in 4 of our neighborhoods, which was the Forestwood neighborhood, Park Chatelet neighborhood, Caldwell Court, and Lang and Royce Park. Again, the residents were happy to see us out there, gave us an opportunity to engage with the community. So as someone mentioned earlier, we look forward to this event again next year, and hopefully it can, we get more participation. As I mentioned, well, I didn't mention this, but this past month we did swear in a new officer from University of Missouri, St. Louis, UMSL, Officer Devin Smith, who's currently on field training with us. And as of this day, he's doing pretty good in his field training. This Monday coming up, we are swearing in a new individual from the St. Louis City Sheriff Department, Jamar Duncan. That swearing in will take place at the police department, 10 o'clock a.m. in the old courtroom. Next Monday, I'm sorry, at 10 a.m. In regards to Officer Travis Brown, continue to be in intensive care unit. What I have resulted to do is allow the family usually sends an update to the media like every Friday. So I'd rather for them to send the actual medical updates, but I will say that he has showed some improvement here since the last time we spoke. So those are positive things. At this time, I take any questions anybody may have.
Councilman Williams.
Can you give us more information about what happened last night? I could barely get home. I mean, it was cars on both sides. I didn't know if I was going to get through. I mean, if it's an ongoing investigation, I understand that, but if you can give a little bit more clarity, I would appreciate it. Yeah, obviously it's an ongoing investigation, but as I just mentioned, it was the, we got a call for 911, call for shots being fired in the Park Chatelet neighborhood. Our officers responded, seen a car attempting to leave the subdivision. We stopped that vehicle, was able to locate 2 individuals inside that we identified that was part of this homicide that took place. We also found the deceased inside that vehicle. Again, we went to the prosecuting attorney's office this afternoon. Warrants were applied, $1,000 cash only bond on 2 suspects. I'd rather not say that right now because of an ongoing investigation, but I will say that it wasn't a random act. The victims and suspects were very familiar with one another, so this wasn't just someone coming in the neighborhood, just robbing or shooting a stranger like that. So, make a long story short, the victims and suspects were well known to one another.
Councilman Palmer.
I do have about the incident last night, which I'm not sure if you can share since the investigation is kind of in its infancy, is when something like this happens on private property, which is what it looked like where you were collecting some evidence, is there an investigation into the activities of that property itself? Or is it just the incident that happened in general? Because it is a bit concerning to hear that there might be that type of activity happening in neighborhoods where there's one way in and one way out.
So that's a good question. So I personally went out there this afternoon, me and a couple other officers, and believe it or not, we knocked on every door in that subdivision. And first and foremost, the residents were happy that we did that. And secondly, they did identify 2 particular residents in that particular neighborhood that you referred to that had some property issues and what they felt maybe some drug activity coming from property. So those.
Thank you.
And any other questions for the chief? Thank you, Chief, for doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Mayor. Hello, Mayor.
Yes, Councilwoman Orr. Chief.
Before you close the before you close the manager's report, I have a question for Chief, City Manager Hampton.
Would you repeat what you just said,
I
please?
said, before you close the city manager's report, I have a question for City Manager Hampton.
She has a question.
Yeah. Ms. Miller, you have a question for me?
Okay, I'm sorry if you all can't hear me. I apologize for not being there, but I'm having some work done in my house. So I needed to be here tonight. I just have two quick, they're kind of concerns and questions. City Manager Hampton, like the lady who spoke earlier, there are many residents have concerns regarding the vacant properties that have not been mowed this season. We're nearing the end of grass mowing season. The properties they have been reported to the city. Are we going to be able to address these properties this season? If not, I assume we'll have to wait until next season. Also, there are the city properties, which are code enforcement. I'm sorry, the vacant properties, which are code enforcement, but then we also have the city areas that haven't been mowed or trimmed. You have trees towering into the streets, and I've just received many concerns from residents in Ward 3. So I would like to ask if you could speak to that, as to if there's a plan to address these concerns for the vacant properties that have not been mowed, as well as the trees that are towering, or the overgrowth of vegetation towering into the streets. That's the one. So, and then I have another one. So if you want to address that first, or if you would like for me to speak on the next concern.
Yes, ma'am. So on the vacant properties, we do have a vacant property list going out right now. We also have the dangerous building list that is out there. We also are tearing down homes. With the grass cutting, we do have an active list, but we also have to be mindful of where we are in the budget with the nuisance properties. And one of our goals is to bring that in-house, and maybe this fall, that might be the way to do it, to get to those properties. The rest of it, I really couldn't hear, but if you would like, you can send it to email and I can make sure everybody is aware of it for next meeting.
Okay, well, what I said, and I won't hold too much time. What else? What I said was the overgrowth that towers into the streets. Like, for instance, on Castro, I've received many concerns about that. And there are just certain areas in the community on certain streets where the city is responsible for maintaining that area. So the request from residents is if we could just, work towards resolving that, just getting those areas trimmed, the trees that are towering into the street, and the overgrowth of vegetation. Did you hear me? Okay, that time? Okay.
Is you're asking about more how we file a complaint on our property through?
No, they're not properties, they're city maintained areas.
So
Mhm.
not all this is on city property, we just can't go to a piece of property and cut overgrowth, right? There's a process to this, and that's what we've been trying to do. I know we've answered a lot of this in email, but we told you we were gonna get to the overgrowth this fall, and that's our plan. We've already addressed some off of Rouse, and we'll keep addressing it. Corey, I know Gilbert has a plan in place, and we're gonna implement it this fall.
Thank you, City Manager Hampton. The second question, and I'll try to speak a little bit louder, is last council meeting, you weren't at the council meeting, and the council voted to approve Resolution 2024-44, the Arbor Street Repair Improvement Project. And so can you clarify if there is additional funding from if the project came in under budget, will there be an opportunity to purchase more speed humps or not?
Yes, ma'am. So last council meeting, we said our streets came in under budget. However, when we did slab replacement throughout the city, there was some that we had to replace more slabs and all that. So we're coming in right at $0. So we don't have an extra 150,000 or 200,000 for additional speed humps at this time, and or for anything else in the city. So we have spent that. We will have exhausted all the ARPA funds once we're done with the overlay.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted you to clarify that, for the residents on record. So if there is an opportunity to purchase more speed humps, it'll have to be budgeted in during our budget session in the summer. So, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Manager.
Thank you, Councilwoman Noor. Any other question for the city manager in the city manager's report? Hear none. City manager's report.
I do have one thing.
Okay.
Tonight, I just noticed we have a couple students from Warshu. They're here that I am working with on West Florissant stabilization. If you'd like to come up and maybe just introduce yourself real quick, anyone? And then I will ask them to come back and do a presentation on this at a later date, but at least you'll know who they are and what they're trying to accomplish.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Young. I'm a senior at WashU.
Jalen Walker, also a senior at WashU.
Sustainability exchange class. So we're working on a project for sustainability in Ferguson, and we've talked to City Manager Hampton and Mayor Jones, and we'll be continuing through the end of the semester.
Super excited to be here and excited to be working with you all. And we really do want to emphasize community support and community engagement in this project. So that it was important to come here and get this time with you all. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know I just put them on the spot, but
Yeah, you did.
I saw them in the crowd, so I might as well introduce them. And so if they are a familiar face, the next council meetings, you know who they are. If you have questions, please ask them. But they are doing a study for us and going to try to help us out. So that's all I have for my report.
Councilwoman Lipka.
So right now, I do not know that Ella's Kitchen's out of business, right? They still have 2 registers, is my understanding. Now, I don't have a code enforcement person that works at nighttime. But that's something that maybe me and the chief can work out and see what we can do. But right now, we're still doing an investigation. I found out about some of this last night after I contacted everyone about what was happening on Chatterley. So I just need a little bit of time of investigation, and I will get back to council. Yes.
Councilman Williams.
I know the public comments are over, but the young lady kind of came late. Is there any way she can say her piece at the end? Because if it's her first time, you don't know that you need to sign in.
I mean, it's not up to me, but
I'm not trying to go
right.
policies,
But it's kinda why
procedures.
We have the rules in place, so, because what we've learned since 2014 and on is we can have some of these go to midnight if we let that happen. I'm not trying to say no or yes, but that's your own decision.
Anything else for the city manager?
No, ma'am.
City manager portion has closed. We don't have any special presentation tonight. We move to our public hearing. We don't have a public hearing. We move to the consent agenda. City council meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes. We don't have any for tonight. Board and commission, no minute meetings for tonight, no appointments. We do have requests. Our request tonight is for November council meeting. The request is to cancel November the 26th, 2024 meeting due to the holiday and cancel December 24th meeting due for the holiday. I need a motion in the second for
So moved.
approval.
Second, Laquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We have a proclamation tonight for Proud, whereas Proud People Reaching Out for Unity and Diversity 30th Anniversary Oak Park Conference at St. Louis Community College at Florissant Valley honors the celebration, accomplishments, and challenges of diversity, housing, economics, education, community safety, art, and community involvement in the city of Ferguson that leads to healing. Whereas Proud is a 501c3 federal organization offering diversity strategies, advocacy services, community service, health initiatives, workshop, financial education, and courageous conversation. Whereas the Oak Park Conference stared justice in the face and stood for the outcome of change, peace, justice to evaluate practices, and realistic strategies to empower communities for the betterment of all. Whereas Proud is consistent with educating and empowering Ferguson, Missouri community of interest to utilize the power of one to make a difference. Whereas Proud embodies this quote, despite our every effort, you and I won't heal everyone, but each of us can be the one who can make a difference for good in the life of someone. End quote by Aaron Alden. Now therefore, I, Ella Jones, Mayor of the City of Ferguson, on behalf of the City Council and the citizen of Ferguson, do hereby proclaim 30th anniversary of the Oak Park Conference. We move to our resolution. Resolution number 2024-46. Without objection, we're introduced by Mayor Ella Jones, Councilwoman Naquita Noor, and Councilman Castle. Attorney, is he on the thing? Attorney,
Yeah, he's here.
could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2024-46, a resolution appointing William Goldstein as municipal judge for the city of Ferguson for a term of 2 years.
City Manager Hampton.
I have nothing further on this.
I ask for a motion and a second for approval.
So moved.
Two moves, once. Do we have a second?
Second, Naquita Noah.
Acting Clerk Chris, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Kassoff,
Aye.
Councilman Robinette, Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilman Williams.
Aye.
Resolution number 2024-46 passes. We move to resolution 2024-47. Without objection, we're introduced by Mayor Jones, Councilwoman Noor, and Councilman Castle. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2024-47, a resolution to hold the general municipal election on Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 in the city of Ferguson, Missouri for the election of 3 council members, 1 from each ward.
City Manager Hampton.
Nothing further, Mayor.
I ask for a motion and a second for approval.
So moved.
Second, Naquita Noah.
Acting City Clerk Chris, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Kassoff,
Aye.
Councilman Robinette, Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilman Williams,
Aye.
Councilman Noah,
Aye.
Resolution number 2024-47 passes. We move to bills for first reading. We have bill number 7295. Without objection, we're introduced by Mayor Ella Jones. Attorney Carey, could you please read the bill by the title only?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7295, an ordinance amending certain sections within Chapter 2, Article 2 of the Code of Ordinances for the city of Ferguson relating to ordinances and resolutions.
City Manager Hampton.
Mayor, I have nothing at this time.
At this time, there's no action taken on this bill. We don't have any readings for the second.
Mayor, quick question, on this bill 7295, I'm seeing that it's an ordinance for chapter 19 for the child care certificate. According to 7295.4. Is there something I missed?
It's not for the child care certificate.
I understand that, but as you can see, the printout that I have does have that number on it. So I would like to know if there's something that I caught before it goes further.
Mine does not read that for child care.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm showing you the one that does.
And this was sent to you
I printed that off of our
Wait.
website.
in the email.
Mayor Jones, I think since we don't have the list of the last bill, I think since Octavia keeps that list, I think when Dave was assigning a number, he might have accidentally used a bill that might have been dropped or a last bill that was passed.
Okay, so when that happens, how do you suggest that this should be corrected? Because the bill that you guys are referring to, I thought I had printed off. I'm not putting my fingers on it unless here.
Attorney Carey,
The one link
Right.
to the city's website, the agenda on our website in the agenda center is linked to the correct bill.
oh, it was the correct bill.
The
said.
public agenda on the city's website is linked to the correct bill.
It is the.
I'm checking that now.
Okay, so the public link is correct, and what we have tonight is correct.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the public link may be correct, but the bill 7295 was assigned to the child care bill prior to this one. So we need to change the bill number on the one that is currently here regarding certain sections within chapter 2, article 2 of the Code of Ordinances for the city of Ferguson relating to ordinances and resolutions.
Changing the bill number would be a non-substantial amendment, which you could do at the second reading without requiring going back to first reading. So if the clerk can get that straightened out by our next meeting, then the mayor can amend it.
Acting
I
clerk.
agree with that. I agree with that.
Thank you, attorney.
Yep.
We'll get that taken care of.
We'll get it taken care of. Where are you, Octavia?
Yeah.
We will get that taken care of. We don't have any bills for second reading, so we move to any unfinished business.
I do, Mayor, I have just right quick, unfinished business. The unfinished business is an ask for the traffic commission or the council liaison for the traffic commission. For the traffic commission to report certain information pertaining to the Jamar speed assessment. If we could have this information reported to the community, I know that the traffic commission are all volunteers, but it is just an ask. The length of time the Jamar radar device is positioned on a pole for driver speed to be monitored. The second one is which streets have already been assessed per ward since the city purchased the device. And lastly, how many streets are awaiting assessment? Thank you.
City manager.
Yeah, Ms. Noah, for some reason tonight, there's such a muffle. We're really not understanding much. Is there a way we can do, like maybe send out an email and then we can get that answer and be prepared for next meeting? Or
Sure, I can follow up with this unfinished business in an email. That's no problem.
We thank you for that, Councilwoman Orr. Any other unfinished business? City manager?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, on sponsorship of the resolutions and ordinances, is it possible that after it's out to all council members, that at 48 hours, whoever's on that bill for sponsoring, that we call it, that's done until we come to the meeting? Because what it's doing is putting staff in situations where we don't need to be.
So are we in agreement? The city manager has asked us as a council that when the bill resolution is sent out, respond within 48 hours. If you do not respond by text, email, or call, your name will not be omitted to the bill. Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
We are in agreement. Councilwoman Orr,
Yes.
thank you. Any other unfinished business? We move to new business.
Mayor, I do have some new business.
Councilman Palmer, unless you want to yield to Councilwoman Lipka.
I can be brief. If the council agrees, I would like to see us at the next meeting recognize Negwar Materials for their 100 years in business in the city of Ferguson with a proclamation, if that's possible.
Yes.
So if acting city clerk Crable can get with them and invite Negwar Materials to come to the next meeting and issue a proclamation thanking them for being in business in Ferguson for 100 years, that'd be great.
Yes. We've been trying to communicate and get in touch with her, so.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Councilwoman Lipka?
So in new business, I would like to ask that a conversation be started once again. This is something that I have been a strong proponent of for many years on city council. But I would like to ask city staff to come back to next city council with an idea of where we could utilize funds in our general fund budget to authorize $500 a month to the Ferguson Neighborhood Times for a half-page space. This is something that I have been adamant about for many, many years. I was singly the only one on city council many times that advocated for this. And as I had said back then, it has now come to fruition with citizens who have come to the podium asking for this type of neighborly information that shows pride and humanity amongst one another. So I'd like to see some way we can make this happen in our budget.
City manager.
So right now, currently, it's not in the budget at all. So that would have to be a budget amendment.
Correct.
And I don't know where we would cut right now. Everybody's pretty.
Councilwoman Heather Robinette. City manager.
During the budget time, we did say if we did have something to put in the paper that we would pay for it, and that's why Parks does it. And that's something maybe we can look at a little bit more, but right now, I know it's not.
Councilwoman Lipka.
I'm going to just continue to disagree with that. I understand that you have your
Type ODT, I found really the only migraine medication that helps treat and prevent all.
had things in the past and currently have in our budget some things that, maybe are a little antiquated themselves. We've had software programs we paid for that didn't pay themselves off. We have problems with OpenGov. We have problems with our internet. We have problems with all kinds of things that are supposedly technologically advanced, and they sure act antiquated. So I would just like to say that at some point, I think that as valid as your argument is, we also have to go to the argument of humanity for our community, something that's been around for over 100 years, that works, continues to work, and people have asked for. And $500 a month, maybe we go $250 a month and we do a quarter page, but something to announce the activities. If it's being done through Parks and Rec's budget and they're being successful, I don't know, maybe we leech on to Parks and Rec and ask them to spend a little bit more on this and we jump in on their stuff. I don't know, but the point is the residents have come. This is something that I was adamant and passionate about, and I am pleased to see that I'm not alone. So
that's where I'm putting it. It's new business. I would like to see next council meeting if staff can find anything in the budget. Not saying you will, but I ask that you try.
And it's not an argument, it's a,
Has been an argument.
it's a discussion. Any other new business? Councilman Williams?
Okay, so, I guess I've been here for 2 years and I had to get permits, for my house, swimming pool permit, permits of that nature. The process was pretty easy. You go down there, fill it out, you pay your money. I think the guy's last name is Watson or something like that. Takes him about 2 weeks and you come up there, you get your permit. Now we're going through open.gov. Process is not that easy anymore. And I'm kind of glad I did it because I always think about my dad, who's a senior baby boomer. And I'm not pointing fingers because I'm part of the system now, but I just want to do a solution to resolve it. So they moved it to building 108. So when I went down there, I said, I want to do a permit for a whole house generator. They said, hey, we don't do it in-house. You got to go online. So I went online and I looked at it in the bottom. It said, email your permit. I did what the instructions said, and it said, no, you got to go to the portal. And mind you, my major's computer science. I didn't find the portal. I think someone sent me the link. So I'm thinking if I'm 60 plus or in my 70s, that would be impossible to do. And so I filled it out, paid my $50 online. That was easy enough. But then I needed a sketch for a whole house generator. And it was under building permits instead of electrical. I finally got my permit Friday after about a month, but the process was painful. So I'm just thinking about some of our senior residents or people not that computer literate. I think we need to streamline it. So I talked to Councilman Palmer. You know, that's what he does for a living. You know, it should be maybe a drop down or a deck or whatever you need to kind of streamline it and make it more user friendly. Because what's going to happen, people are going to bypass it and just do the work without a permit. And I talked to Chief Hampton as well. So that's the problem, you know, but I have some solutions to fix that. And I think with Palmer's expertise, and Nick has some computer savvy, and I do too, I think we can maybe tweak open.gov to make it streamlined and more user-friendly to get a permit.
Yeah, after we talked, I went to our IT department and asked if we had any extra iPads and or surfaces laying around, which we do. We are now putting kiosks in all the departments. So when you do come in, you actually can fill it out right then and there with help from staff. So those actions are being put in place right now.
Any other new business? We move to miscellaneous. Let's start with Councilwoman Orr.
Okay, hopefully you all can hear me okay. I just want to say this right quick. There has been many concerns about Republic Services when the drivers, they don't just put the bin down, they're being thrown to the ground. I have encouraged the residents to call and report that to Republic Services. So I'm just wanting to say that in you know, the council meeting, if anyone is having an issue with that, please report the concerns to Republic Services. But also, Chief, I don't know how often you speak with the representative, if that could just be mentioned. I've seen pictures just of the bins being thrown to the ground and not positioned upright after they're being emptied. The next thing is, I want to thank all of the contributors to National Night Out. Thank you to all of the Ferguson staff. I'm one that believes that small progress is progress. So I just want to continue to thank you all for your service to the Ferguson community and thank everyone, and please continue to be safe and well.
Thank you, Councilwoman Orr. Councilman Palmer,
I have nothing.
Councilman Cassoff,
No, ma'am.
Councilwoman Robinette, Councilwoman Lipka.
Yes, ma'am. Couple of things. I know in the past, when we've had public comments, Mayor Knowles would say this, and you've said this, and you even said it tonight, that you direct the questions that need to be answered by citizens to city staff and ask them to get back to those citizens, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so unfortunately, the lady has left. But Miss Nixon Harris, who lives in Dyer Down, in regards to the status report of the property at Smithshire, that is something that before you even came on board, I have talked to the city staff about in the past. I've tried to get information. Some of it's none of my business, you know, because it's a situation between the city and that resident. So it's not something that's my business to then share with other people. And I know Mr. Williams has looked into it as well, but I would ask that, I was hoping she would be here to know, we have, as council members, and before Mr. Williams, Councilwoman Nelson, we have looked into this. We have talked to city staff. We follow the levels of protocol, which is when a citizen comes to us, we then go to the city manager and we go to him directly. We can send an email to him or to the assistant city manager or both. We also have another area we can send our emails to called council concerns, which they go to. It then gets in their hands. They then direct action to that. And then they try to get back to us to let us know the status of that action. They don't always get back to us because this is a constantly moving organization that is constantly, you know, responding to things, putting out fires, making things happen. So as a result, the action is that we do our part, we hand to them, and then we have to trust that they do their part. So I would like citizens to know that, because in regards to Ms. Nixon Harris and also to Ms. Vivian Fox, which she is absolutely right, there has been situations many, many times where the citizens of Somerset have come to their council members, whether it be Ella and I, or myself and Phaedra Nelson, or myself and Mr. Williams, and we have every single time gone to the city staff. So we are doing our part, and we have to then trust the city staff to get back to those people and let them know what's happening. So that also goes for Ferguson Woods and the lawn mowing situation there. The common denominator here, except for Miss Nixon Harris, is that a lot of these things are happening in subdivisions that have HOAs. They act as a private entity. So then we have a little more legalities that we have to deal with. So that's the one thing. Also, in response to Ms. Brooks, you've asked this in many council meetings. I think I've said the same thing. If I haven't, I apologize. I'm saying it now. Bill 7282 is dead. There's been no conversation. It's dead. It's been dead since that night. Nothing's been rescheduled. Nothing's happened. Nobody's talked amongst each other. Nobody's talked amongst staff. We haven't seen Ms. St. Pierre since then. It's dead. Okay? Then going on to, I took care of that. I want to welcome our new officer, Mr. Devin Smith, and I look forward to Mr. Jamar Duncan coming on board. And then I would also like to go to the comments about my use of language. So let me be clear. Who do I sound like? Let me be clear. The definition of jackass is 1, a stupid person, and 2, a male ass or donkey. That's the definition. So let's stick to the definition. Now, I use the word jackass as a stupid person, and a stupid person or a jackass defined by me is somebody who takes it upon themselves to think that they are so entitled that they can speed 2, 3, 4, and 5 times the speed limit through a neighborhood and put your life, Miss Mitchum, my life, and everybody else's life in that area at risk. And I don't particularly think that I'm calling citizens that. I'm calling stupid people that, who are taking my life into their hands because I don't matter and I think we all matter. So please take your anger that you want to direct to me and direct it to the proper area, which is the people who are speeding through your neighborhood and taking your life at risk. I would also like to say that my heart and prayers have been going out since last Thursday to the victims of Helene. They are to the victims in the southern states. I have,
Helena.
excuse me?
Helena.
Helena, the victims in the southern states. I have friends in North Carolina that are barely holding on. This is very personal to me. I have a family member in Sarasota who can't get out. This morning when we talked, she was assured she'd be okay because she was 12 feet above ground.
Sea level.
She has a reinforced impact-proof roof, reinforced impact windows, reinforced impact garage door. And then as of this afternoon, now the surge is supposed to be 15 feet tall, which means if that happens, she'll be 3 feet underwater if it doesn't go to 18 feet. There's no way to survive that. So, I just want us to keep things in perspective. We have a beautiful city. We have little problems. We make them too big. The reality is there are people out there that are living like pioneers again in the winter months amongst bears and coyotes and all those other good things that go crack in the night. Please count your blessings and please share your blessings in donation possibilities of any sort of all kind to the victims of Milton and the victims of Helene. And as I close out my time here, and I'm sure there are people here that are rolling their eyes at me and that kind of thing because they like to, I would also like to say a prayer to those who are living in an unpeaceful time in the Middle East and the anniversary yesterday of the attack in Israel of 1 year, and that I ask that we all pray for peace and a release of the continued captivity of hostages and the danger zone that so many people in the Middle East are walking into in these days. I'm done.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. Councilman Williams?
So I got an email from Rick Allen. He's grateful for the speed bumps, but he says on Gerald Place, there are no signs. I can't remember if he said it, if it was painted or not, but I think this is, I heard this come up before. People are grateful for the speed bumps, but it's no signage. Are we responsible for the signage? Is St. Louis County or the contractors?
Well, now we're responsible. The contractor did put them up. What is happening in many of the areas is people are taking them down. And I mean, I get a photo every day of another sign down thrown in woods or wherever, down a sewer. And so we have to go get it, put it up. That's why we're gonna go to the high vis paint. And then we bought all those little delineators for like Chambers Road and I believe that. So we're gonna also use those as well, where we can put those more on the signs.
All right, thank
That
you.
will also help us out during the winter.
I'll let them know that. And as far as the paper, I'm kind of divided on that. It is antiquated technology, but my wife found out about the FNIP program through that paper. So I know our budget is tight. It might not be 500 a month, or whatever we can do. But I also encourage the paper. You gotta go online. Even the big boys aren't delivering papers anymore, and maybe some advertising dollars to keep it up. But it's cool to have a physical copy because we learn a lot about Ferguson through that paper. And one of the programs was the FNIP program. I don't think I would have found out about that program if it wasn't for that paper. So I'm kind of torn because it is antiquated technology, but it still works. So, and my last comment. So everybody on this council, we're not preachers or clergymen. We're people, especially me. I'm a very calm and collected person, but if you come up to me starting something, it might be an issue. I know the good book says turn the other way, but you know, if I feel threatened, I might not turn the other way. So I just want you guys to remember that, you know, this is basically volunteer work. We're trying to do what's best for the city, but at the same time, we're people. So just keep that in mind. We're not a preacher or clergy or a saint. You know, I keep hearing we should be held to a higher standard. Just because you're elected official, if someone disrespects you or threatens your life, it's no higher standard for that. And when Miss Lipka said jackass, I wasn't offended at all. And then she read the definition. I don't think she had any malice intent behind that. And I just think we need to keep stuff in perspective. What I noticed in Ferguson, it'll be something minor. You know, you turn an anthill into a mountain. We need to be thankful for our blessings. And you know, I'm originally from North Carolina. I call back home. It's not happening in Raleigh and Durham, but the mountains are devastated. And if you ever been to the mountains of North Carolina or the Appalachian, they're like thousands of feet above sea level. So for them to get flooded out is crazy. It's unfathomable what they're going through. So just keep that in mind. A lot of these people in the second hurricane, they're not going to be here. So just count our blessings, and we need to put our differences aside and a little pettiness and keep moving forward and make Ferguson a great place.
1 minute.
I wanted to ask you a question. Do you think that these signs are being taken out by people who are trying to avoid? Because I don't think so. They're too far ahead of those speed humps for that.
They're being pulled out.
They're being pulled out? Okay. If you would like my husband to put our mailbox in about 5 feet of concrete, that thing's not moving. I can bring him out for you.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Acting City Clerk.
I think Octavia usually does this around this time of year, but since we just passed the resolution 24-47 to hold the general election, for people who will be running for council, November 1st is when packets will be available for pickup. You'll come into City Hall, we'll have to just sign your name and get you that information, and the packets will be available November 1st for running for council.
Thank you, Acting City Clerk, Chris. City Manager.
I have nothing at this time, Mayor.
Attorney Carey.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I would be there with you guys tonight, but I'm dealing with that second round of COVID tonight. So hopefully I was able to talk in a manner that you guys could hear me, but I appreciate the opportunity to attend via Zoom. So thanks.
Thank you. Just want to share with everyone, this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Please do not forget to go get your mammogram. National Night Out was phenomenal. And to the council, Councilman Palmer has asked everyone to send them your top 10 for your ward, and hopefully he will get all that information and we can all meet and come up with something and talk with the city manager as a council. He's been here a whole year. We have not had a council meeting with him. So hopefully you can get all that and we could start moving. At this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, Naquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned.